Oh, it's her body, though.
Yeah, it's her body.
If she wants to do meth, what's the big deal?
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Tim Pool destroying Lance from the Serfs in a debate about abortion and trans rights and a few more things. Now, until yesterday, I'd never seen this guy, Lance, before. I never heard of the Serfs YouTube channel. I don't know who this man is. All that I can gather from the video we're going to watch in a moment is that he is a far leftist who got annihilated, pulverized by a regular normie leftist in Tim Pool. This guy, Lance, makes Tim Pool look like Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan, maybe even a Rand Paul in comparison. It's crazy. Now, before I go any further into it, let's roll some clips. If you want to see him before without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
You believe that the moment after the child is outside of the birth canal,
Sure.
that they are now endowed with human rights.
Yes.
However, when they are inside of the mother, literally anything you do to them is acceptable because they're inside of the mother.
Oh, no, I don't think anything is acceptable, but I think the mother should still have the choice, ultimate authority over what happens to her body.
But there's a child inside of her body.
Hold on.
Not
What
her.
about
Yes.
meth?
Like, should she be allowed to do meth?
Yeah.
I think if someone is doing meth while they're pregnant, that it is completely acceptable for something like, I don't know what the name of the service is in the United States.
Child services?
I guess
Child
DCFS
services?
would be...
Oh,
yeah.
it's her body, though.
Yeah, it's her body.
If she wants to do meth, what's the big deal?
Oh,
The big deal is that she's intentionally trying to kill a child.
Hold on there a minute.
Yeah, and I see where we're going.
I don't understand what you're saying. It's her body.
It's her
if
body.
She wants to do meth. What's the problem?
Well, first off, doing meth is illegal, period.
nah,
Doesn't matter if you're doing it.
it's illegal, huh? Okay, well, I know a few more things that are illegal. Like, I don't know, killing a person. I thought that was illegal too. So now you want to get into the legality. Oh, that's illegal. Okay, now what if you did something that was legal, like drinking yourself to death? Should you be able to be a mother and drink till you drunk, blackout drunk every single night? Okay, you could do a lot of things that are legal. You got legal prescription drugs. Should you be able to just take those, knocking those back to back while you're pregnant? How about when you're eating just not enough or too much or whatever things you're doing that are damaging the baby? So all of a sudden you care about the life of the baby and how the baby's doing. All of a sudden the baby is a baby, right? But when you're talking about abortion, it's not a baby. So which one is it? I mean, we can't have this duality going on. Now let's get into another clip here where they're talking about the whole trans issue. The first clip was crazy enough where my man Lance right here got annihilated, but to his credit, he is a pretty good sport about it. He went on Twitter and was like, "Hey, how'd I do?" And I was like, "Well, maybe not too well." Matter of fact, hold on, I think I might even have that right there. He was like, "Hey, how did I do?" I was like, "Well, I don't know. Maybe you didn't do too well, sir. Maybe you didn't do too well." But we got to get to another clip here. This is him talking about some trans issues. And one thing I could say is that I think most people that are walking around the earth do not think this way, but there are some who do think this way. And a lot of them have very, very big followings, so they're able to influence a lot of people. And I think this debate was good, so you're able to see another side of the argument. So his fans, people that watch him, I'm not sure if he has a big channel or what. Like I say, I don't know this guy at all from a can of paint. If he was to walk up to me on Fifth Avenue, New York City, slap me in the face, I had no idea who he is. Anyway, I think it's good for his fans to watch this to see that there are some serious holes in this argument. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Okay, so my follow-up is, you think trans people feel safer than ever?
No. Right now, there's over 400 different bills being pushed in the United States that is directly targeting trans people.
So they don't feel safe?
Of course they don't.
So then why are they coming out if they don't feel safe?
They have more access because that Generation Z, has a lot more acceptance towards trans people than older people who pass laws.
Now, I saw a poll, or it might have been some stats, either way. They said that like 20% of Gen Z identify as LGBT. Y'all please fact check me on that. I'm not quite sure if that's accurate, but I know that when you see the numbers, you compare Gen Z to millennials, to Gen X, baby boomers, silent generation. every year since, World War II, like not even really World War II, it started with the millennials, started to kind of creep up as far as LGBT identifying, and then it blew up with Gen Z. Now, is it because we've become more tolerant as a society, more accepting, or is it because these kids are being brainwashed from an early age, put on things like puberty blockers or hormone blockers, and then that may cause them to go that direction? I'm just saying.
Draconian people who pass laws. The boomers are the ones running the show right now. They're still the ones in government. They're still the ones passing laws. There's very few Generation Z in government or parliament.
You want to know what I think? I think there is a trans genocide.
Okay.
And I think it's you.
Okay.
Because you're sterilizing a lot of these people.
How so?
I mean, they're literally sterilizing them. The surgery to remove the gonads, hysterectomies, and puberty and cross-sex hormones and puberty blockers have a high rate of sterilization. I mean, first of all, removal of the gonads in the uterus is an absolute sterilization. And then puberty blockers have a very high rate, and cross-sex hormones have an extremely high rate of sterilizing the individual. So these people can no longer reproduce. That's genocide.
Correct.
Is this the joke you're going to go for?
Joke? You are removing these people's ability to reproduce. Mm-hmm. And if they're at a young age and they haven't had the ability, like for instance, Jazz Jennings can never have kids. Jazz Jennings also, and this probably part of your studies, can't actually feel any sexual feeling of any kind.
Do you have any idea how weird this sounds right now? Like, why are you obsessing with a stranger's genital pleasure? That's so weird.
So is that what you got out of what Tim Pool just said about their pleasure, feeling pleasure? That's not even really the issue. I mean, that's part of it. But the bigger issue is that these young people, these children, many times are being sterilized. When you have a hysterectomy, way before it's time, way before menopause, or before you get to that particular point, when you have a hysterectomy at 18 or 15 or however old they want to be now I saw something where they're talking about treating toddlers and having them become transgender. How can a toddler even understand what's happening at all? How can they get it? It's so weird because these people, a guy like this would say, oh, well, like the human brain is not fully developed until you turn 25. They'll say stuff like that when it comes to a younger woman dating an older man. Okay, if she's 22 and he's 40, that's somehow wrong. That's somehow gross because her brain's not all the way developed. But then they'll turn around and say, okay, this 5-year-old boy can now become a girl, and we could put him on all types of drugs that will interrupt his natural development. And that's totally fine. That makes no sense. They move the goalposts whenever it's convenient, and then they ignore certain things to focus on one thing that they think will get them a slam, a home run, a slam dunk. Okay, but it's not, because you're talking about removing boys' genitals, girls' uterus. So by the time they get to the point where they want to have a baby, they can't even do it. So if they made a decision at, I don't know, well, it's not even them making a decision. If their parents made them become so-called transgender at 5 years old, when they get to be 21 years old and they graduate in college and they want to start a family, they can't do it, even if they wanted to. They might not feel the same way they did at 5 years old. But I digress. Let's go ahead and let them finish.
That's so bizarre.
That was very weird yourself.
You guys are all layers.
No. So I'm talking about adults who engage in activities, which is a large portion of the global economy, whether you like it or not. Sure. Sex sells, they say. And when I say this person will never have this ability, you go, how weird is that?
It's weird for you to fixate on a stranger's genital pleasure. That's strange. That's so bizarre.
Well, she's public about it.
But see, you're not making an argument right now, is my point.
I'm not. I'm saying it's weird. It's not an argument. Yeah, that's an observation.
So you're trying to make an appeal to emotion and an appeal to shame.
No, I'm just giving you my genuine thought when you say something like that. Like,
well, it was a really pathetic attempt at trying to make an argument.
Why should we talk about that?
Okay, so that's that. I mean, I guess he's not worried. I guess he's not worried about children having their ability to reproduce removed. So when they get to be adults and trying to have a baby, they can't do it. And that's how a lot of the LGBT, that's how they reproduce, because they can't reproduce normally through regular methods. Well, they can, but not really. I mean, if you got two men, they cannot have a baby. So they got to go try to find a surrogate, they got to go adopt, they got to do something. But to reproduce their ideology, what they do is groom children from a young age remove certain body parts, and now you have a permanent part of their particular class. That's how it goes. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to this guy, Lance, for going on the Timcast and having a debate, because a lot of these guys on the left, they don't want to debate you. They want to just throw stones at you from the shooter internet behind dog avatars and things like that, and have that be that. Call you all kind of racial slurs and everything else. And I'd have been called every racial slur in the book. And now, you know, the new thing now is getting called a racial slur by a white person who claims to be woke. That's a brand new thing now. Oh, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? You know how non-racist I am? I'm going to call this black guy the N-word because he thinks that he is a conservative and that's the right way to go. That's what's going on now. This world is crazy. So shout out to this guy for not being afraid like that, for not hiding behind the internet and going out there and having a debate. Although, in my humble opinion, he got absolutely annihilated. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How you feel about this debate? You think it was a good one, bad one? Have you seen the entire thing? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Tim Pool did a great job here, especially in the first part with the abortion argument. That was fantastic. I'm gonna use that next time. My body, my choice. Well, okay, how about this though? Like, let's get down to the bottom of it. Let's get straight to the core of what's going on, and we can have a real conversation rather than just throwing out talking points that never really get challenged. Because they'll say things like that, and nobody ever says, "Well, wait a minute. What about this? What about that?" I'm glad we have somebody to challenge these points on air, and I'm glad we have a guy that's willing to go on there and get challenged, although he got stomped into wine. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.